You want to be the type of woman that is hard to get, not the type of woman that plays hard to get, because a woman that is playing hard to get is not hard to get. She's actually very easy to get. She's playing games and being manipulative because she's extremely insecure. She has low self-worth and she's playing a game. And men know this. Men know when a woman is faking it or trying to be hard to get, and they also know that if they just make certain advances toward this woman, she's gonna break, right? You don't want to be a woman that is playing hard to get, because it is very, 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 very obvious when a woman is playing hard to get versus a woman that naturally is harder to get. And a woman that is harder to get, she's going to show up this way in her business, in her relationships, with her friendships, because she naturally has a high level of self-worth, and she knows that she doesn't need to put herself out there so much to get a return on who she is. So in business, that's going to look like a woman that isn't constantly posting all the time, isn't spamming you with emails, like 10 emails a day. She shows up, she does what she needs to do on social media, but there's a level of self-worth there, meaning she doesn't need to be posting all the time or in your face all the time to get the result that she wants, because she knows innately who she is going to drive sales to her. She doesn't need to force anything. She's magnetic. A woman that is playing hard to get, or is, let's say, saying the right words but isn't really hard to get, she's going to function in a very different way, because she's going to be in your face all the time. She's going to pretend to be high value and pretend to be like this woman that is magnetic, but her actions are going to show otherwise, because her actions in business are going to be, she's posting all the time. She might be, like taking other people's content. She's really just in your face, right? So these concepts work in business as well as love, because a high value woman and a woman that is naturally magnetic, it's not that she's magnetic in business and then not magnetic in love, or magnetic in love and not in business. Like, it applies everywhere, because your essence and your energy is with you at all times. You're not just like high self-worth in one area and not the other area. So why men love a woman that is harder to get is because, for one, she has extremely high self-worth, and this is so attractive to men. From an evolutionary standpoint, a man knows that he's the hunter and that he wants to meet a woman that is extremely high quality and that is not going to be for everyone. So this is where this exclusivity aspect is it's a turn on for men. Because a woman that is hard to get is going to be a woman that is not for everyone. And every man wants this. Every man wants to be with the woman that is ungettable, that this man knows she's not being around town, she's not like insecure, she's not parading herself for everyone. Because from an evolutionary standpoint, a man is looking for the fittest mate to have his offspring with, or even to commit his life to, right? A man wants to marry a woman that he's proud of, that he can sit there and know that this woman was not for everyone. She was super hard to get. I had to work for her, meaning that she also had to, she was also this way with other men. And that makes a man feel like there's some level of like exclusivity with you, that not everybody can have you. So this woman appears the same way in business, right? She doesn't just work with everyone. She's not easy to, like reach all the time. So this woman is a woman where you always want more from her. She'll release a video and then you want more. You're like captivated by her energy. This is the same thing in love that men are looking for. They're looking for this sense of like, I want more. And women that are hard to get always leave a man wondering, is she interested in me? I want more. Even into a relationship, a man has the sense about this woman, because this woman is her eggs are not always in his basket, meaning even if you're in a relationship with him, or you're married to him or engaged to him, the man always has this sense that her worth is so high that if I mess up or something goes wrong in the relationship and she communicates it to me, that if I don't get my act together, this is not a woman that's just going to stick around for that, right? So this is a woman that is hard to get no matter what. You can't just have high self-worth in one area and then you move into a relationship and all of a sudden you're so desperate. It doesn't work that way. Your self-worth comes from how you feel about yourself. And the better you feel about yourself, the more healing work you've done on yourself, the more that you're going to know your value. And when you know your value, you're going to show up a certain way. So for one, men really are attracted to a woman with high self-worth. To them, it signals that this woman has not been with a lot of men, that I really have to work for her. So when a man also feels like I have to work for her, because a woman that is like hard to get, and this is not playing hard to get, because when you're playing hard to get, a man knows, right? A man knows that this woman is just pretending to be high value or pretending to be hard to get. And the moment that I just push her a little bit for sex, or, I just like move toward her a little bit more than she's used to, she's going to cave, right? Men know this, so you can't fake being hard to get, right? And again, and this is what I always say to women, like, if I say, you shouldn't sleep with a man, or be careful about, how physical you get with men, just because this is the way I function doesn't mean that you want to function in this way. Because if it's not coming off naturally, and it's coming off as you are playing games, or you're trying to get an outcome from a man, he's going to know that you're playing hard to get, and this is going to backfire on you, because he's not going to find that attractive. Because a woman that actually plays hard to get, she's not outcome oriented. So everything is coming from her own innate sense of being and her own innate sense of confidence. And she has this sense about her that the clients that I work with, well, they better have a deep appreciation for me. I better feel good to work with them as well. It's a two-sided thing. And the man that I give my body to, well, he better appreciate who I am, and he better show me he's worthy of me giving my heart to him. It's not an outcome orientation where the woman is thinking, well, if I play hard to get, this guy's gonna like me, right? That is extremely unhealthy, and this is coming from a deep-seated insecurity. So this can't come from games. As I always say, you have to do the inner work. It has to come from within, because it's felt. Now, as I said, in terms of like evolution, a man is always going to want the best woman by his side, especially to marry, right? Every single man wants to find their person, even if they say they don't. The reason they say they don't is because they've been with so many women that don't allow them to like prove themselves to the woman. So a woman will meet a man and she'll get excited about the man, and then the woman is the one hunting the man, and that doesn't feel good to a man. So his natural default is going to say, I don't want to get married, but that's just not true. Every man wants to be married and wants to be with their person. They either just don't believe that exists, or they don't think that they don't believe that it exists, or they believe that if they admit this truth to the woman is going to try to manipulate him into like locking him down, and a man doesn't want to feel that. So high self-worth to a man signals this woman is exclusive. She's not for everybody. Men really have to work for her. She hasn't, been with a lot of men, and a man really innately, like at a subconscious level, is very, very, very attracted to this type of woman. So another thing that really draws men in when it comes to this type of woman that like is hard to get, let's say, is it sparks his natural inclination for competition, right? And so men by design, like every man, even a man that's more in his feminine, are designed to be competitive, right? And when a woman is like harder to get, it will subconsciously trigger his instincts to win this woman over, because the woman that doesn't play hard to get, or that doesn't play hard to get, but that is hard to get, she naturally doesn't chase men. She doesn't chase men. She doesn't like lean in. She doesn't try to make anything happen. She just is who she is. And then she's assessing who is the best man for her. She's not sitting there trying to get a man to be anything other than he is, right? She communicates what she wants. She's honest about it. And that's it. And then she waits to see if the man is able to show up for her in the way that she needs. And if he doesn't, she sort of moves on to other men that will be able to give her what it is that she requires and what she wants, because she's not trying to change a man. She doesn't want to change a man, and she doesn't need to do anything to get a man to be who he is. She wants a man to just show up in his natural state, and then she wants to decide, is this the right man for me? in a relationship, that looks like if you've communicated certain things to a man, hopefully you've done that before you've entered the relationship. Oftentimes, with a high value woman, let's say, she'll communicate certain things in the relationship, before the relationship, and a man will recognize, I want to be with this woman, and he'll do whatever he can to like get this woman, but then in the relationship he'll backtrack. And what will happen in this sort of dynamic is, because a woman that is hard to get, it doesn't mean that she's just going to leave as soon as she sees difficulties. In Secrets of the Feminine Woman, I talk about feminine women are very reasonable until they're not. So what that means is that a woman will give chances. A feminine woman, or a good woman, or a woman that is hard to get, will communicate her needs and will communicate, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, I've mentioned these things to you before, and she'll give chances to see how things unfold. If the man is not taking her seriously, or is not doing what she needs to feel comfortable in a relationship, then she'll leave, right? This is what it means to be a woman that is harder to get, because even if a woman loves a man, if a man is not honoring his side of the commitment to her, and she knows she's honoring her side of the commitment to him, then she's not going to continue to sit around and nag. She's just going to leave. And the reason for this is because a woman that is hard to get has a high degree of self-worth, meaning she loves herself. And naturally, because she loves herself, she loves her partner, she shows up in a really good way in the relationship. And if she's not getting that same treatment back, she's not going to lower her value by continuing to repeat the same thing over and over and over to a man, because that just doesn't feel good to her. So eventually she's going to leave. This is how it's going to look in a relationship. And I always say, it doesn't matter if you have kids, doesn't matter if you're married, like none of these things matter. They're excuses, right? If you really have a high level of self-worth within you, you're never going to let someone else disrespect you, and you're never going to let someone else numerous times not be good to you. Like you can't. It's like it's beyond what is accepted. If you don't tolerate that sort of behavior within yourself as a woman or a man, you're not going to be able to do that in the relationship with someone. So saying that, oh, there's kids or whatever, they're all excuses, right? Because if you're in a relationship with someone, even into marriage, and you're not getting the treatment back that you're giving. So again, this isn't being entitled. It's, if you're a good person, you're a good woman or a good man, and you show up a certain way, you're going to want that same treatment back. And if you're not getting that, if you have a high level of self-worth and confidence within you, you will not be able to leave. You will not be able to stay. Even if you have kids, even if you're afraid of money, you're not going to be able to stay, because your self-worth is not going to allow you to stay in a situation that is like disrespectful to your being, right? So this is how, I guess you would say, not even a woman, where even a man that is hard to get responds, right? And this is kind of how it looks when you're into a relationship. So this is really attractive to the opposite sex, because what it signals to the opposite sex is this person really knows their value. And I don't want to lose this person, because this person knows their value. And if I'm not with this person, another person is going to come into the mix, because they will. So it sparks a man's level of competition with the woman, because a man doesn't want what was his, or what is his, or what he wants to be his, to be anyone else's, right? A man that really, really is attracted to a woman, especially a woman that is desirable, is never going to want someone else to have what he believes is his, or what he desires to be his. And this is why a woman that is hard to get is just so desirable. Tying into this, what also is attractive to men is that women that are hard to get there's no drama, meaning they're not needy, they're not codependent, they don't sweat the small things. They don't, there's not a lot of expectations on a man that are outside of what the general expectation of a relationship should be, right? Meaning, in the initial phases of dating, a woman has no expectations of a man to call, text, etc., because they're dating, right? There's no expectations. So this gives the man the freedom to pursue her. In the earlier stages of dating, especially with men, this is really attractive to men, because a lot of men have been in bad relationships with women, and so their heart closes. And when they meet a woman where there's no expectations, a man is free to get to know her without any sort of pressure, because she's not putting any pressure on him, because she doesn't really care, because she's dating other men, there's other men there. A man like feels the freedom to get to know her, so he feels free, he doesn't feel pressure, and his guard starts to drop because he can see that this woman is likely different from other women that like latched onto him and were super needy and super fake and, you know, jumping over cartwheels, you know, sleeping with him, doing all these things to impress him, right? When he meets a woman that is a complete opposite and she's warm, she's friendly, she enjoys his company, but she doesn't lead, she doesn't chase, she doesn't have any expectations of him to call, to do anything aside from the basic things that he should be doing earlier on, and you can read What Men Want, I get into the dating stage, that gives a man a level of freedom and it makes him feel good. Into the relationship, and into engagement, same. A woman that is harder to get is not, doesn't complain a lot, doesn't expect a lot from her partner except the bare minimum. So when you're in a relationship with a man, there should be daily check-ins, daily calls, there should be dates, etc. When you move into engagement, there should be more responsibility, meaning that for a woman to feel good into an engagement, there needs to be a wedding date set, there needs to be plans, the man needs to be making plans to live together, the man needs to know how to create boundaries with other people, the man needs to put the woman's interests first. So these are normal expectations of a relationship once you move into engagement on both sides, right? So a woman that is hard to get is going to have these expectations, which are normal expectations once you move into engagement. And if a man is not meeting that and a woman has said it multiple times, at some point she's gonna check out and she's gonna say, this man's never gonna change. It doesn't look like he's gonna change, and she's gonna leave. It works the same way with men, just so you know, because high value men, when they meet a woman and let's say they move into an engagement, they want the same sort of treatment that a woman would want. They would want a woman to have boundaries. They would want a woman to set up a wedding date, to be excited about getting married, to live with the woman, to not flirt with other men. It goes both ways, right? And if a man is seeing that, okay, well, now we're engaged and this woman is like, has no boundaries, has no respect for me, doesn't care about what I want, you know, a high value, confident man is gonna say, bye, like peace out, right? Even if they're engaged, because again, the nature and the responsibility of the relationship at that point increased. So a person that is playing hard to get is not going to leave. A person that plays hard to get just nags and nags and nags and bitches and complains all the time, but never leaves, right? So the other person will never take you seriously in the relationship because you're playing hard to get. You're not really hard to get. You're faking it, right? So this is where like the difference between playing hard to get versus actually being hard to get like really play in. Because again, the level of commitment of a relationship also increases the responsibility for either party. And even if you are in a new level of commitment with a person, that doesn't mean that, okay, I'm just gonna like relax now because this person isn't going anywhere. No way. A person that is hard to get or has high self-esteem and high self-worth is never gonna think that if I'm treated badly at whatever stage of the relationship, I'm just gonna stay because I'm married. No way. A high value person is never gonna think that. Like it's just, they're never gonna think that. That is insane. It's insane to me to think that, like, okay, I'm going to get married or I'm going to get engaged and the other person treats me bad and I'm just going to stay because I'm engaged now. So again, that's deep level of insecurity. That is a person that cares more about society, what other people think, and has low self-esteem. That is not a person that actually has high self-worth, right? So again, another thing that men love about women that are hard to get is that there's a level of freedom there. So this ties into this point that I was just speaking about earlier, is that men want to feel free. And women that are harder to get, because they don't place expectations on men, aside from like what you should be doing given the nature of the relationship, there's no expectations, meaning a woman that like is hard to get has her own stuff going on, right? She's not needy, she's not codependent, she's not desperate, she doesn't need to be like coddled by a man and vice versa, and she gives a man room to be a man, right? Men really, really love this, and they're really attracted to women that have self-confidence and are secure, because just because they're in a relationship doesn't mean for men that they just want to be locked down and like they're in a prison, right? So women that also are hard to get also don't want to feel controlled. Everything I always say always works both ways, right? I deeply desire freedom, and I could never be with someone that had a hard time with me being me. I don't want to be controlled. I don't want to be told how to be. I want to be seen for who I am. And if I'm in a relationship where I can't be myself, I'm going to leave, right? So I need that room and that freedom to be myself, because I know that I'm a good woman. And if a man is not able to let me be myself because of his own insecurities, that's not a relationship that's going to feel good to me. Same thing with a man. A man doesn't want to be with a woman that is always controlling, always getting mad for little things, and he has to be on eggshells to make her happy because she's so unhappy. A man doesn't want to feel like that, because then when you're in the relationship with that person, you don't feel expanded, you feel contracted, and it doesn't feel good. And so women that are hard to get, they naturally give men a lot of room, because they don't need a lot of attention and to be babied and to be coddled. Another thing that men find extremely attractive about women that are harder to get is the level of self-confidence that they possess. And I've already spoken about this, but I just want to get into this a little bit more. When a woman feels very confident about herself, she has a high degree of self-esteem, it really makes a man feel safe, because a man feels that yes, she wants to be seen. Yes, she wants to be told she's beautiful. Yes, she wants words, affirmations. She wants all these things, but she doesn't need it as a requirement to who she is, right? And so that gives men room and space and freedom to be themselves and to show up as their romantic selves in the relationship without feeling forced to do anything. Because anytime something feels forced, it's not going to feel good to men. Yeah, and I think that is the last of what I wanted to say in this video. I am going to be doing a blog post for this video, so make sure you check out the website, check out my resources if you want to go deeper on anything, and you can book an email session with me or a phone call with me, a phone session with me if you want to go deeper into your specific situation. Bye.